Hello and welcome to today's episode of Dr. Simone's Mindspace. Today from a dark and rainy Zurich evening, walking in the rain with our little son and trying to just embrace the dark month. And we'll talk to you about SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Winter and darkness, fog, rain, and lack of sunlight impacts many people's well-being during the winter month. It's named SAD, or seasonal affective disorder, for what it stands for. This specific seasonal depression affects people around the world and occurs when days get shorter. The lack of sunlight, the lack of time outside, people retreat to their homes. There's not that much interaction between people around the world. And what it makes with people is that we feel sad, we feel depressed, we feel low in affect and low in motivation to do anything. And of course, it's not very motivating to be outside when it's dark and rainy and cold and winter snow, dark, cold mornings to get up to. It's not very motivating either. So what can we do? And how do I know that I'm suffering from SAD? If you are not depressed or low in mood during the rest of the year, but it almost like pressing on a button starts when the darkness comes and the winter comes, then you know that it has to do with the lack of sunlight, the lack of exposure to sun, and also dealing with the darkness and the cold, and with maybe also your whole society being more on a depressive mode. It's also possible that you lack vitamin D and that you lack spending time outside in the sun or even just during daylight times, and that also has an impact on your mood. So what can we do to reduce symptoms of SAD? Exercise, especially during the bright daylight hours, no matter rain or sun. It really is important to get outside during lunchtime when the sun or the light is at its peak. Try to really do so, even if it's just for a little bit of time. But really get yourself out there. And winter swimming, a pure endorphin booster. During my time in Stockholm, my friend has actually introduced me to winter swimming. And that very winter I started with it was the first winter I actually did not feel as depressed and sad as any other year before that. So it really, really does help to make you feel less depressed. It also gives you a sense of feeling like, well, if I can swim in the coldest winter, then I can master anything in life. And so it really helps. Meet and be active with friends is also a very good thing to do, because we tend to retreat to a more introverted side of ourselves in the cold winter month and not be out and about with friends and going for a nice apéro in the sun after work or swim in the lake as we usually do here in Zurich in the summertime. So we tend to go home and be by ourselves and eat a lot of chips and feel miserable. So really try and go out active with others. Then it's also easier to run in the rain than running by yourself in the rain. And also head to mountains for snow and bright sunlight, as we can do here in Switzerland, which is a really good thing to do in order to help yourself be less depressed because of lack of sunlight. And in places where you can't do that, you may consider buying a therapy light that's called a sad lamp, to put on in the evenings at home when you're studying or working or having dinner or preparing dinner or simply reading a book, because that actually does help a lot to get you this type of light we all need in these times of winter. And also reach out to an expert, to a therapist, to talk about your feelings before it's too late. Don't wait until you feel so sad and depressed. A psychologist or psychotherapy can be a great source of support during this time. And the sooner you reach out, the better. And try and embrace and list up things you can do during this month and enjoy the coziness as well. I remember so vividly my professor in Sweden told me she actually was looking forward to this cozy month where she can light candles when the light is getting less and less in the winter. And I was just thinking like, well, yeah, I like that too, but it's okay if it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon rather than 3 p.m. when it gets dark and you have to light your candles. But she really did embrace it in a much more positive way than I was living in Sweden. So I think there is a part in it where you can really try and make it feel less of a burden to be in the dark winter month, when you can actually do things that help and boost your mood. And with that said, it still exists, and I do know it from my own experience living in Scandinavia for a couple of years, how it does really come and impact you. So reach out to support, reach out to your friends and network before it gets dark, and establish new routines for the winter that do actually have a positive impact on your well-being. I wish you all a nice and active January with lots of sports and lots of nice contacts with others during these times when it is dark and cold. And wishing you a great Sunday evening. Heading home now for a lovely dinner with some candles and enjoying the winter vegetables from the farmer's market. Take care and talk to you soon again. Bye.